Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our webinar on funding Manitoba's agri-food innovation ecosystem. So as you all logged into this webinar, you may be wondering or thinking or reflecting on innovation and what exactly is innovation? Why does it matter? We know that innovation involves thinking, working creatively, taking risks, and also fueling unique solutions. But one thing that often I find fascinating is that creating value is a very highly defining characteristic of innovation. So this challenges us to reflect on what real value could look like when it comes to agri-food, both for consumers and for industry. Value added is a very highly talked about concept. We all want to go into that field and we want to understand the opportunities that remain in the value added sector for all of us. So innovation invites us to dream big about how we plan to feed roughly 9 billion people by 2050 and how we plan to provide meaningful work in a thriving ag economy into the future. So sometimes innovation comes with, can we afford to risk? Or do we have the capacity to innovate? So that leaves us to ask, is innovation just a nice to have? Or is it something we need consistently to challenge ourselves to prioritize? So this is what we're here to discuss today. My name is Katie Sandhu, and I'm the Director of Industry Development Branch with Manitoba Agriculture. I'm thrilled to be joined by three food innovation experts in our panel today. So welcome Haba, Darren, and James. As a rising leader in the Canadian innovation landscape, Haba Khatun has a strong focus on driving transformative change in the food industry. As a regional innovation director for Canadian Food Innovation Network in the Prairies, Haba brings a wealth of experience in fostering collaboration, advising, and investing in innovation ecosystems. Welcome, Haba. Darren Boulding, he is an expert in the commercialization of new technologies in the bio-based industries. Darren has over 20 years of international experience working in startups, research institutions, and funding organizations across the globe. He is currently the regional director of the Prairies for Natural Products Canada. Welcome, Darren. James Street has 30 plus years food career covering culinary, production, retail, manufacturing, and government. At Protein Industries Canada, James leads international engagement activities to create new market opportunities, international research and development collaborations, and attracting investments to the Canadian plant-based ecosystem. Welcome, James. So we have a jam-packed hour, so let's dive right in. Throughout the webinar, please feel free to post your questions and we'll try to get to them at the end of the session today. So now I'll go into my questions for the panelists and really looking forward to the discussion. Haba, can you please start off by giving us your pitch of the Canadian Food Innovation Network and what it has to offer? So over to you, Haba.
Absolutely. Thank you, Katie, and welcome everyone to this webinar. It's going to be a great conversation. I'm super excited to be a part of it. I'll take a few minutes and share my screen and share a few things about who we are, what we do, how we progress and make innovation happen by supporting food companies in the ecosystem across Canada. So I'll share my screen now. And we will go from there. Okay, I'm hoping everyone can see it. Awesome. Yes. Okay, so Canadian Food Innovation Network, you may or may not have heard of us. We are a national not-for-profit. We're relatively new into the Canadian food ecosystem, about 3 years old. And the reason why we came to life is because we recognized some gaps in the food space. And I'll share a little bit more about where we fill those gaps. So let's start by who we are, what we do, and kind of how we support more of a national growth. So we're a national not-for-profit. We're fully funded by the federal government to help elevate the Canadian food landscape. The way that we support innovation is through matchmaking food industry, connecting people, ideas, technologies, and taking our food game to a whole new level. So, three things that you really need to know about who we are at CFIN, and I'll call it CFIN for short, Canadian Food Innovation Network, just so we can become more conversational in the mix. Um, so one thing that's absolutely important is growth through innovation. So our members across Canada are about 4,200 now, and they're growing every day in real time. They're all about using innovation to supercharge food manufacturing, food services, food retail businesses. Imagine more efficient processes, better products, and all around smarter ways of doing things. The second thing that you really need to know about CFIN is the fact that we provide ideas, information, and matchmaking. So at CFIN, it's like a one-stop shop for all things innovation in food. We bring ideas to the table. We share valuable information with you through our website, and we play matchmaker to connect the right folks with the right technologies. Canada is so physically large; it's near impossible to connect with someone so close. So for example, I can't just get up today and go have a coffee with my regional innovation director counterpart in Ontario because it's physically a 4-hour flight away. So these connection of ideas and information and matchmaking through a network that's all virtual is so important. And the third component that's absolutely important to know is that we are nationwide. So our team is spread out, bringing innovation support across Canada from different regions to various types of businesses. Now, what is it that we do? So this is our playbook. It's kind of a playbook for championing food tech innovation. We're making things happen through strategic funding, which is something very important that we'll talk about today, through leading with insightful thought, through crafting unique experiences, really building meaningful connections and sparking more powerful collaborations amongst food businesses across Canada. So just wanted to clarify a little bit. Our focus is on driving innovation in the post-farm gate space. So you see this green box over here? That's what we focus on. That's our area for focus in the food sector. So this means that we support in the development of new technologies and solutions in things like processing, distribution, packaging, rather than on agriculture production itself. There's so many organizations that are already rocking it in the farming world. They've got the seed, the soil, the whole agriculture vibe covered. So our focus is on post-farm gate, and we're able to use that knowledge and those resources to address critical challenges that are related to food in processing, packaging, distribution, that can really help make the food ecosystem in Canada more sustainable, more efficient. Now, you must be wondering, what are the specific subsectors that we care about and we serve? So I've actually compiled a list of all of them right here. So food processing is one of them, technologies that preserve taste and nutrients during food processing, food science. So think of it as molecular gastronomy, bioengineering, something for unique textures and flavors. Food service is another big one. So automation and robotics, really optimizing the cooking experience. Retail and e-commerce, that would be trends and data analytics, transforming the food retail landscape. Sustainability is a major one, and we'll talk a little bit more about that today as well, because it's absolutely important. So embracing more sustainable circular economy practices that reduce waste. Packaging is a big one. We actually did a specific funding call for packaging. This includes companies that are working in biodegradable materials, smart packaging technology, really rethinking how we package our food. Um, Food safety and traceability is another big one, ensuring that there's transparency with blockchain technology and innovative monitoring systems. There's a Manitoba company that we funded. I'll share a little bit more about that in our conversation today as well. They focus on transparency and traceability. The next generation food and drinks, really discovering those personalized nutrition and health needs, more around functional foods. Purchasing experience is a big one as well that we really focus on. So that includes online platforms, apps like Skip the Dishes and others, AR, VR enhancing experiences that are like our, experiences that advance our shopping behaviors. And food as medicine is also a big one that we fund and support. So that includes nutrition science, really addressing people's health. So this is one area that you should really focus on. You don't need to take a picture of that. We will ask the team at Government of Manitoba to send a copy of this. And I'll in the next slide, share a QR code that you can scan quickly, put your name in, and you get all the information on this funding. But just quickly, I wanted to walk you through some of our funding programs. There's one open now, and it closes on March 14th. So if any of you are interested, reach out to me, go online, start to fill out an application. It's an excellent program with just a 60-day response time. So really, really helpful. Basically, our purpose for providing funding is to accelerate performance for companies. So we're here to turbocharge your company's food innovation game, really helping you reach new heights. B, it's addressing breakthroughs. So at CFIN, we're always on the lookout for those aha moments in the food industry. So really seizing breakthrough opportunities together and helping you do them. And then the third, which is a really, really important one, is research and development for actual impact. So our focus is turning research and development into real world game changing solutions. So that can be new ingredients, it can be disruptive products, it can be cutting edge technology, or a combination of all three that we can really support and fund. So our Innovation Booster program, as I mentioned, is open now. It's for small and medium companies. I'll share a little bit more. Between 20,000 and 200,000, you pay 50%. We pay the other 50. You have a 60-day response time and a quick turnaround, and you can action on your innovation idea right then and there. We funded over $14 million to date through these programs, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have about them after this talk. Now, this is the QR code. So before we do any of our conversations, if you're wondering what's out there for you, what services we have, we know we have funding, but there's a lot more that we have. So just scan this QR code. I'll leave it here for another 10 seconds. There's information on programs and services and resources and really a lot that we have to offer. And it's all free. There's no cost. It's all funded through the federal government, through ISET and Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada. And this is your shortcut to some really exciting stuff in the food space. So I would say scan it, drop in your information. All you have to do is put in your name and email. You'll get an email from our communications director, Jamil Karim, and he'll give you more information on really exactly what you're looking for to understand more about CFIN. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next slide, which is my last one, and then I'm going to pass it back to Katie. So we've talked about a lot of the things that we offer and in very high level, but what's really important and what we're really proud of is a platform, an online platform called Yodel. So with the support from Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada, we've created Yodel. Now, what is it? Yodel is a free digital platform, or sort of like a hub that has been designed as a centralized location for food innovators across Canada and beyond. So there's a lot of international folks there as well. And one of its primary purposes is to really facilitate collaboration across Canada in the food space, providing opportunities for individuals to connect, to participate, to pick up on cool ideas, to find partners, to find funders, to lead exciting collaborations and intersections. And the great news is, since its inception about a year and a half ago, Yodel is working. It's working really well. We have over 4,100 members across Canada, and hundreds of them are using Yodel to discuss ideas, find partners, and solve their innovation problems. So another QR code, but this is the one that directly takes you to Yodel. So if you want to get on it, takes less than 2 minutes to sign up. Great resource, free for everyone. This is your contact. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen now and I'll give all of this back to Katie.
Thank you so much, Haba. That was fascinating to learn. And when you're talking about support systems available in the innovation space and it being, supported by innovative platforms such as Yodel, that's fascinating and really looking forward to a few more questions so that we can get more understanding and learn more about CFIN. So thank you very much. Darren, let's hear from you. What do our viewers need to know about Natural Products Canada? Over to you, Darren.
Thank you very much. I'm just going to share my slides here and put it on full screen. Oops, there we go. Natural Products Canada, we're really about driving natural product innovation to market. And what we mean by natural product innovation is, in the broadest sense, anything that's sort of biologically innovative. We really believe this is a $1 trillion opportunity. There is an incredible amount of demand for clean and green. It's everywhere. The world is grappling with environmental issues, food safety, security, sovereignty, diet and lifestyle-related illness, zootropic diseases. All of this is creating demand for biologically based products, technologies, and solutions. So the 5 different bubbles here includes areas that we're involved in: water and waste treatment, bioproduct sustainability, food products and value-added agriculture, animal health, nutrition, and wellness. We don't get involved in on the medical side. So supplements, yes, but not medical for those. What we focus on is, again, is naturally derived solutions that benefit the people, animals, and the planet. We support early stage companies developing biologically based innovative solutions. These solutions need to be highly innovative, characterized by proprietary IP or processes, leverage or enhance the use of naturally occurring molecules, and can be applied to multiple large and growing industry verticals. Our mandate is simple. We're driving innovative natural products to market. We are a nonprofit organization. Most of our funding comes from the federal government. We were formed in 2016, so we've been around now for 7-8 years. Our structure, we do have a national coverage by team and strategic partnerships. So I cover the prairies, for example, and I have colleagues across Canada. And our model is we have membership across diverse stakeholders. So this pictures of our team. Again, I'm over top of Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, so I cover the prairies. I have a colleague, Rishi, in BC, colleagues in Ontario, Quebec, and Atlantic Canada. And we have a broad depth of experience as a team. So, and we kind of use that experience together to look at different opportunities in different sectors. Our cluster, essentially, there's 5 different types of stakeholders. There's large corporations, there's investors, there's the innovation support organizations, research institutes, and startups. So this cluster really see it as the facility to develop and commercial success of innovative products. So what's really important is engaging this cluster. We're always making introductions between the various members. We're screening opportunities from the strategic step. We're doing networking, and we have other programs that we offer. Our track record, well, we have connected with 3,800 stakeholders. We've supported 1,600 companies in various ways, whether it's from advice or connections or funding. We've made 13 equity investments. So originally, the first 5 years, we actually made equity investments, and we have 13 of them. We've done 65 funding deals through non-dilutive funding, and we've leveraged for every dollar committed, we've leveraged that 64 times. Our commercialization programs, and this is really where I'm talking about our funding. We have fast track. We have 3 of them. Fast track to financing is about helping develop a strong business plan. Access to talent is really about hiring some key professionals to ensure your growth. And proof of concept is really about trials to demonstrate commercial feasibility. So that's really beyond the lab stage. We're looking at projects once we're getting closer to commercialization. Fast track to financing it helps address a key gap in the business plan or commercialization plan. Projects examples, market analysis, value proposition, regulatory plan, IP. It's really open to SMEs, startups, and also academic research institutes. We do provide 40% of the cost up to $25,000. Access to talent is helping achieve key milestones through the hire of a person. The person must be full-time and must work 100% for that company, and we cover 40% of the cost of that employee salary over 18 months. There are two streams. For individuals, 5 to 9 years experience, we can cover up to $75,000. Our maximum is $75,000 we provide. Stream 2 is when it's beyond 10 years. Our maximum is $150,000 over 18 months. Examples again: product development, business development, regulatory strategy, product scale up, marketing or sales strategy, and fundraising. Proof of concept is really helping establish commercial feasibility of products or technologies and de-risking them for subsequent investments. So examples are multi-center animal trial to validate pilot trial data, human clinical trial data for a natural health product or functional food, field trial to show the efficacy of bio-based ag product, or demonstration trial. The program is open to SME, startups, and academic research institutes, and recently, we've increased our maximum to $350,000 that we can provide over 18 months. And finally, I'll mention Nadera Ventures. I previously mentioned that we made 13 equity investments. We no longer make equity investments with our more recent funding we had from the federal government. So we've helped found Nadera Ventures. Nadera Ventures makes seed and Series A investments. They write checks from $1 to $3 million, and so we are quite involved with Nadera. They operate independently from us, but we're sort of involved in setting them up. So thank you very much. If you want to contact me, my email address is darren@nationalproductscanada.com, and feel free to reach out anytime.
Thank you very much, Darren. This was really interesting and excellent to learn about the different opportunities that Natural Products Canada offers. So I pass it now to you, James. Please share with us more about Protein Industries Canada and the core priorities. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Katie. Hello, everyone. Thanks for the opportunity to showcase Protein Industries Canada, or PIC, as we call ourselves. I'm going to jump right in. So here at PIC, we deliver on innovation programming through 3 program streams: technology leadership, capacity building, and an artificial intelligence commercialization program. Achieving this requires a collaborative approach. We here at Protein Industries Canada help to foster collaboration and develop new ingredients, new products for grocery store shelves, and strengthening the Canadian plant-based ecosystem overall. Companies across the country are encouraged to put forth projects that are aligned with and contribute to the objectives of advancing Canada's plant-based food, feed, and ingredient system. And when we define plant-based, we're talking about the broad acreage crops, largely of Western Canada, but showcased right across our country. We're talking about oats and pulses and legumes and canola and soy and some of those new and novel ingredients in between. So we are a 10-year, $300 million program. The first tranche of funding, which concluded in March of last year, has some metrics here on this slide, some outcomes from our first fund that illustrate the size and scope and impact of our innovation funding stream. So we had over 55 projects involving 445 partners, proving that innovation does require a lot of collaboration. And we'll talk about that more during the questions, but we'd like to talk about how industry rose to the challenge, and they co-invested over $260 million on top of our contribution of $150 million in funding from Ministry of Innovation, Science, and Economic Development. We forecasted an impressive 15 billion in expected 10-year GDP as a result of these investments, and the innovations will work to increase the capacity of the sector. This is a snapshot of innovative companies showcasing the breadth of the ecosystem present in our last funding cycle. Our project ecosystem includes a range of startups to multinational enterprises, and they have strong capacity and capabilities in the plant protein ingredient category. The diversity of crops extends into the diversity of companies and products available. We see high quality, high protein ingredients being developed with oat, soy, lupin, the crops that I mentioned before, lentils, peas, canola, fava, and more. We're expanding out internationally. Katie mentioned with my role with international engagement, we are bringing in new jurisdictions in a more meaningful way. We just announced a bilateral call with the UK last fall, which we're moving through right now, hoping to increase the engagement and the collaboration with the US, with the Netherlands, Singapore, and other key opinion and thought leaders around the world. So our innovation does go across the range of the value chain from primary production.
Going into the questions, and thank you for the overview that you all have shared. So I'll start with you, Darren. You mentioned that there is a lot of opportunities to get involved with Natural Products Canada all along the value chain. Do you see any emerging trends or innovations in agri-food that you anticipate more innovators will engage with? And can you also share with us what some of those drivers for such trends will be in the future?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think that there's a lot of focus on the environment right now because of climate change, et cetera. And we're seeing a lot of research, early stage research in this area, which translates into a bigger pipeline in this space. So that is one trend I notice quite strongly. I think pretty much you can produce any sort of petrochemical now using fermentation systems. So lots of focus on the biochemical space in terms of replacing petrochemicals. I think there's a lot of focus on biomaterials too, in replacing petrochemicals and biomaterials. That's a hot area. Also, in terms of animal health is replacing microbials because it's microbial resistant. So there's lots of innovation in that space. I mean, a couple examples, we funded Zilla, which is using hemp oil to replace some of the petrochemical resins in snowboards and skis and flooring in that. And we gave them funding to produce samples for it to be tested by one of the large snowboard companies. That's a proof of concept. We've also supported Altigreen, which was developing a hemp feed for poultry, and we gave them funding to help their business plan understand their IP strategy. We introduced them to the Canadian Hemp Trade Association, who's filing for regulatory approval to use hemp for animal feed. So those are some of the kind of projects we've been involved in.
Excellent, thank you. That's really interesting to hear about, Darren. James, we know that in 2021, PIC unveiled its Road to 25 billion roadmap. You spoke about it in the previous presentation on the overview. And we also know to achieve this, PIC's funding model is really fostering collaboration across the plant protein industry within Canada, across the world. Can you tell us a bit more about the Road to 25 billion and what opportunities that creates for the Canadian companies? And if you can also share how you think collaboration really rises the tide for all boats. Are there any challenges to collaboration that you're seeing, and how we could learn to work differently? So we'll really welcome your insights on that and learning more about the Road to 25 billion.
Thanks, Katie. Yeah, I'll start off with the roadmap. And the Road to 25 billion is the framework of actions required by PIC, industry, and government to build how we quantify the sector to be about a $25 billion valuation by 2035. This has been the number we came with has been developed by a report from Ernst & Young that looked at the global alternative and plant-based opportunity and how the Canadian value proposition fits into that. And really that trickled down to about a 10% market share opportunity for Canada. So then when we look at that $25 billion opportunity and the 2035 timeline, how do we reverse engineer and get us there? So that was our call to action within that framework in terms of what conditions needed to be true and mapping out that key path that we need to be on in order to both capitalize on the opportunity, but also navigate the headwinds facing industry today that really forced us to do a bit of a refresh last year and update even the 2021 report that fed into the framework. Just as EVs signify a sustainable evolution in transportation and an economic boon for Canada, so does ingredient manufacturing and food processing. The growth of Canada's ingredient manufacturing sector can offer economic prosperity, reduced emissions, strengthened food chain, economic resilience, and addressing food security issues in other jurisdictions, and all in the face of a rapidly changing global landscape. You don't have to watch the news for very long to see a lot of those headwinds that are facing industry today. The roadmap shows that Canada needs to build out additional processing capacity for the ingredient manufacturing sector. Startups looking to address this gap have an opportunity across the suite of crops. And then in order to achieve 25 billion in valuation, we're going to need about another 3 or 4 million metric tons of processing capacity here in Canada. And that's going to be an excellent export opportunity, but it's also an opportunity for value-added manufacturers further downstream of the value chain to access high-quality Canadian ingredients. Katie, you were asking about how we think about collaboration and that rising tide that lifts all boats. A heavy lift such as scaling an industry to 25 billion is going to require collaboration at a number of levels and right across the country. And we build that into our technology program in terms of defining that they need to have a consortium within that. And these project consortia lean on each other and learn from each other, not just at the technical level. They're building business communities that, as they establish trust and relationships, work on common or interrelated issues. An ingredient company works with a food manufacturer so that each can better understand the performance of an ingredient, and that customer feedback for them is available at the R&D stage, then reducing lost time and wasted resources and creating, obviously, future business opportunities down the road. When we look at challenges to collaboration, intellectual property is probably one of the first conversations that comes up. We have a director of IP in-house here at Protein Industries Canada, and Jennifer, helps Project Consortium manage the IP protection within the projects, but also helps them understand how that fits into the overall growth strategy and the performance of the company. Another challenge to collaboration is collaborating as you grow. Canadian companies that are growing quickly are sometimes challenged to assign dedicated FTEs to a project within an innovation fund, whether we're talking Protein Industries Canada or any number across the country. And as many can feel, it's just another hat to wear as a founder or a CEO or an entrepreneur. You have to be reminded that collaboration takes a serious investment of time, focus, and resources. And going into that relationship with eyes wide open is pretty key.
Thank you very much. You shared excellent perspectives, and we could actually spend, another hour unpacking some of that and discussing further. So thank you for sharing that, James. Haba, can you build on this? Can you share with us how can Manitoba companies actively engage and collaborate within the dynamic food tech landscape? and broader innovation ecosystem, making sure that they're remaining at the forefront of advancements that the industry is seeing?
Yeah, Katie, great question. As James mentioned, collaboration is key. It's absolutely pivotal in understanding and navigating the ecosystem. On from my perspective and from CFIN's perspectives, there's three key things that Manitoba companies can do to really advance. And I will not stress this enough, but networking events and platforms, understand them, get on them, being out there really makes an impact. So being part of networking events and a lot of them, there's opportunities for you to attend them for free as well, especially if you're a startup and SME and you want to save costs on that. There's conferences, workshops that really bring together professionals, entrepreneurs, innovators, and funders. Be part of those conversations. Just this month, Canadian Food Innovation Network, we hosted our annual signature event called Food Tech Next Showcase in Ottawa. It's a great event. Look into events like those and see if you can be a part of them. There's a list of events on our website and they're always active in real time. So just go check them out. See if it's available. See, there's some online as well. I think that's a great resource. The second is through our Yodel Networking Hub. It really connects a diverse network of industry players together. So from startups to more established corporations and really helping them foster collaboration and knowledge exchange. So be on it. Use that as a network and build your network. The second point there is really gaining awareness of what's out there. So tap into incubators and accelerators that provide support, that provide mentorship, that provide resources for startups. Since I joined the food tech landscape about a year and a half ago, I've seen so much growth in this space in terms of support. So look at what Plug and Play is doing. Tap into that. Look at what CDL Rockies is doing. Look at what Alberta Innovates and others in the region are doing. There's some across Canada, some specifically in the prairies. There's great work that SVG Ventures and Thrive is doing. See if you can get into some of their programs and really, be exposed to that mentorship and support through that. Another area that I think is really important is we have a resource directory at the Canadian Food Innovation Network. So it's a comprehensive directory of resources. It includes research institutions, experts, service providers. So that would be really, really helpful for decision making. It's on our website. It's called Resource Directory. You'll see it if you can search it in the search box. If you can't find any of this, I am sharing a lot of information. Just send me a quick nudge. I'll help you figure it out. And then, just staying updated on latest trends and technologies and best practices. The third most important area here is really taking advantages of mentorship opportunities and funding opportunities. So again, on our website, we have a funding finder. Through that funding finder, you can tap into nearly 1,800 funding opportunities in the Canadian food space. You can provide information on who you are, what you do, your revenue, your size of company, and you can narrow it down to exactly what funding fits best for you. That we have a career hub, we have a mentorship platform. You can engage with mentors and advisors. The regional innovation directors, including myself, there's 4 others across Canada. They can provide guidance. And we have funding programs as well. So really see what's out there, take advantage of the funding opportunities, take advantage of the innovation ecosystem that's established to support your growth. And all of those would really help Manitoba companies engage and foster more collaboration.
Thank you very much, Haba. Those were excellent pointers for Manitoba companies. And, with this being recorded, so I'm sure our attendees will go back and, make note of it. The funding finder is fascinating, actually. Ever since I learned about it, went on to it. What an excellent resource. So thank you for sharing. Darren, so as you shared earlier with us, and something we picked upon is Natural Products Canada is unique in that it supports projects in the bioeconomy sector. And we know that this is an emerging space, quite fascinating space. How are you seeing this industry taking shape here in Canada? And what are some of the emerging opportunities you're seeing in bioeconomy, if you can share that with us?
I think there's a lot of opportunity in using our natural resources that we have here in Canada, and we have plenty of them. I'll just give you a few examples. We have one company that's taken the methane emissions and using bacteria to produce protein for aquaculture. And it goes across multiple industries. You're taking a sort of a waste gas and making something valuable to feed fish. Another one industry I think I really, really like a lot, and I think it has an impact in Manitoba is the hemp industry. And there is a lots of companies that were established in Canada for the food industry, and we're seen as leaders in that. And I know companies that just want to move here to establish themselves because of our past experience in the hemp area. And hemp is multiple use. You can use it for food. You can use it for you got good oils. You got good protein. You also have the fiber, which is really strong, grows fast, so you can get into composites. So it affects multiple industries. So that's one area that I'm quite actually really excited about. It's just a fast growing space. I think we have some regulatory issues to sort out to make it grow even better. But those are two in one thing. The whole plant protein space, I think, kind of got set back a little bit recently, but I still think is very strong. I think the new generation products that reduce costs, improve flavor, improve texture, I think are coming along, and I think we can still see a lot of growth in that area. So, in the whole fermentation space, again, as I mentioned, I think you can produce pretty much any petrochemical using a fermentation-based system. And yeah.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Darren. And that's, exactly the innovation space that we talk about that James and Haba and yourselves have underscored today, the importance of it and how it can really shape the economy and the future of the food industry. James, my next question is towards you. Securing project funding is, of course, an essential and needed activity for innovators. But beyond funding, what other challenges are companies experiencing to advance innovations from your perspective? And can you tell us why companies should keep focusing on pushing the needle forward despite these challenges? Or in another way, can you convince us why companies should avoid sticking to the status quo?
Thanks, Katie. Yeah, I really like this question, and I'll start off with the other challenges. Labor, of course, is ever present. It's a key part of project success or business success is utilizing talent programs that exist out there, but also just thinking strategically about your talent needs and how they're going to affect even your ability to attract investors down the road as your company grows. That governance strength is really strong. We talked a bit on the overview and some of the other questions about building that network and building that business community around you. That's a very significant piece that investors look at to de-risk as they're performing their due diligence. So, I can't underscore that enough to really make sure you're investing in people. But getting capacity elsewhere, tapping into the food development centers, research kitchens, the family of supports that are on the call today, other labs and so on will help with that issue and help you to overcome short-term staffing. Slowly, you have to erode away on those shortfalls. Another key challenge to innovation is, and this goes across all sectors, and keeping an eye on the downstream user, that consumer focus, innovate for that end consumer. I can't stress enough that invention is clever, but innovation solves real problems and consumers need solutions. In the case of food, we're always pushing to keep taste, texture, and price parity on the horizon. And that's the shorter path than creating something novel that does not yet have a commercial application, and you're trying to, find that square peg that it fits in. When we're looking at how companies should keep focusing on pushing the needle, the status quo just doesn't fit anymore. It's getting a little bit cliche, but this is not the same world as it was a couple of years ago. But even underneath all of that, lifestyles are changing, as demographics shift. Concentrate on the unique problems that people face as they go through their day, and how does your product hurt or hinder. We talked a little bit on the prep session about how human behavior affects purchasing decisions. You could look at household makeup. Nearly a third of Canadian households are single person. Is your product catering to that segment in terms of portion size, package size, cooking habits of the group, and so on? So consumers are constantly changing as well. There's almost too many factors to list, but consumers are all at once aging, stretched financially, reading labels, eating out more, getting delivery, engaging with brands on social media, expecting that you have something specifically tailored just to them, but you still have to be able to, produce at scale. So it's rapidly evolving, and you have to be at the forefront of that and be able to understand it well enough that you can anticipate and innovate fast enough to keep up to that. Because the industry is changing and supply chains are being disrupted and reforged, as many nations around the world pivot to more domestic value chains. Offshore inputs and equipment are harder to source. So those business communities that we're building, that adds more strength to the Canadian ecosystem at large. Some ingredients are at risk long term. Climate and trade can disrupt the supply of items for plant-based proteins when we're looking at things like palm oil and coconut-based fats. How is your formulation going to be at risk long term if global supply chains are disrupted again? It's not a matter really of if, but when and by how much. Thanks, Katie.
Thank you, James. And we have about 5 minutes left in our presentation. And again, we apologize for the technical difficulties that we had on our end that took away a few minutes. Hava, I want to pick your brain on innovation as well and new projects that you're seeing. So CFIN inception has been a short time ago, but it has successfully launched quite a few number of projects off the ground already. So from your perspective, what types of innovations are you seeing in Canada's value-added ag food sector?
Katie, great question. And I love answering this question because of all the amazing innovations that we see and we fund. And to James' point, there's no way we can stick to the status quo anymore. Things are changing dramatically and rapidly, and all of it is driven through the demand, but also there's so much integration of other sectors in the food space now, and they're bringing in that innovation. So one of the key things that I see, and I think that it has a great impact on the way that we eat, especially around health, is novel ingredients. So innovations in developing those novel ingredients, whether they're plant-based or alternative protein sources. James, I know that you've been working a lot on that landscape, so you've seen a lot of innovation through protein sources. They've been really prominent. Just recently, we funded a company in BC called Crush Dynamics. They make this sugar type of sugar from binary waste. It has 50% less sodium, 80% less sugar. They're working with Purdy's Chocolate on advancing that. So more examples like that. We're seeing some cell ag as well, so advancing in agriculture. So it's basically cultivation of animal cells and then creating a meat that is produced without traditional farming. That's gained momentum as well. Although it's very novel at this point. Robotics and automation is huge because it helps makes processes more efficient. So just recently, we funded a company in Oakville, Ontario called Gastronomist Technologies. They make a kitchen that is fully autonomous. You do not need a person in that commercial kitchen. And they make pasta from scratch. So it's like a symphony unfolding. It's beautiful to see. If we had time, I would have shown that video, but it's so great to see that. And then sustainability, and I know that we wanted to talk a little bit more about that. We may not have time today, but sustainability is massive. Innovation that's geared towards kind of enhancing the sustainability of food production, reducing environmental impact, upcycling, minimizing waste, optimizing resource usage, eco-friendly products that are great. We funded a company called Food Cycle Science out of Ontario that focuses highly on sustainability. They're actually working with the famous blender Vitamix company And they're creating this thing called a food cycler that turns food waste into fertilizer almost immediately. And it's easy to use for gardens and anything else. Another local company in the prairies is called Earthware. They make these boxes. It's a hemp composite that they make them out of. And they give them out to restaurants who, if you were to take out from that restaurant, you can get it in that box and you can give it back to your bottle depot. And it's that circulation of that box service that can be really efficient. So kind of like a tiffin service. Been seeing that a lot as well. We funded a few companies that are in that, in that sustainability and cycling, recycling space. And then another big one that we funded is actually a Manitoba company called Turimesh. They work on blockchain traceability and transferability. And really, the integration of artificial intelligence in different aspects of the food industry is so massive. So I've been seeing, AI companies helping with supply chain, with quality control, a lot with personalized nutrition. A local company that we funded in Calgary called Nutri Meals is now creating an app called Nourished. So if you have any health concerns at all, you can connect with a nutritionist through their app. The nutritionist can tell you what you should be eating and how and when. And then that company can create a meal kit customized for that and deliver it to you. So we're seeing so many of these incredible innovations that have emerged. Better Card Analytics does pricing analytics. They're based out of Saskatchewan. We funded them as well. So great stuff on AI, ML, and blockchain as well. Yeah, I'll stop there. There's a lot more that I can share, but just respecting time here.
Thank you so much, Haba. And like you said, we could spend another few hours actually unpacking and going deeper into what the three of you have shared. But it is so encouraging to hear about those examples, and it shows the speed at which innovation is happening in ag's value added sector from a sustainability standpoint. And like you said, Haba, we wanted to go into a bit more into sustainability measurement, but time's not our friend right now. So with keeping that in mind, I don't think we would have opportunity to go into audience questions as well, but we'll have an opportunity to connect our speakers today with the audience to keep the dialogue going. So I just want to wrap up today by thanking you, Haba, Darren, and James, for your time and your energy that you brought today. And we also want to thank all our listeners who joined us and for your attention. Hopefully you found this conversation as exciting and encouraging as I did. I invite all the attendees to visit our presenters' website, get more information, get involved with their programs. And I also welcome you all to stay tuned for updates on Manitoba's Sustainable Canadian Agriculture Partnership programs that will be on Manitoba government website, on YouTube and Twitter accounts. So thank you, everyone. And I really appreciate your time. And thank you to our presenters. But thank you, James, Haba, and Darren. Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks,
Bye
Katie.
now.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.